From beautiful downtown Sacramento, it's time for Beach Blanket Fort Bingo.
Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Fort Bingo. Spazzy's got a show when you really want to know what's going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Fort Bingo. Art and music, golden view, and your favorite comics too. Grab a spot and settle in, 'cause it's high time we begin. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo Podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another video episode of Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. My name is Steve Schnee, and I have a very special guest on Beach Blanket Fort Bingo today, and that is the Vapors, Dave Fenton, Dan Fenton, Steve Smith, and Michael Bowes. If you want to hear all about the Vapors' early career, such as Turning Japanese and their first two albums, please listen to my audio interview with Dave Fenton on episode 10 of Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. I'm going to give you a link to that below. Now, I have 43 audio episodes of this podcast, and this is only the second video episode, so I hope you enjoy this. This episode is going to focus strictly on the band's reunion and their brand new album, Together. So we're not going to talk about Turning Japanese. We're not going to talk about Jimmy Jones or News at 10, all that great stuff. You can hear Dave talk about that on episode 10 of the audio podcast. So you can listen to that before or after watching this episode. But sit back, relax, and enjoy, because this is a great interview. These are great guys. This is a great album. You are going to love it. You are going to love them. And without any further ado, welcome to the Blanket Fort, Dave Fenton, Dan Fenton, Steve Smith, and Michael Bowes.
Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo Podcast. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Beach Blanket Fort Bingo Podcast. They told me I was crazy from the start. They said that you would only break my heart. But you closed your...
Hi, my name is Steve Schnee, and I'd like to welcome one of my favorite bands of all time, the Vapors, to the Blanket Fort. I have all four members here, and I'd like to introduce them to you. First off, Steve Smith.
Hi, how's it going?
Michael Bowes.
All right.
Dan Fenton. And Dave Fenton. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for taking the time to chat about your new album. After decades of rumors, what finally inspired the Vapors reunion?
It's probably my fault. I took early retirement in 2016 and thought, well, what should I do now? My almost spare time, and I had a pension, so I didn't have to worry too much about money. So the chaps rang Ed and Steve. They were keen. We had met up in London. I think I had a drink and talked about it. Howard, though, was less keen. He just had a new baby daughter, I think it was.
Well, Steve, Steve, what was your reaction when you first heard from Dave about reuniting the band? Did you think that call would ever come?
To be honest, no. I didn't think we'd really do anything again. I'd kind of just sort of thought that was, I think, in a way, the same thing that Howard thought. Just thought it's something that I did in the past, which was great fun, but it's just a long way away. But then when I had a beer with Dave, and I kind of realised we wanted to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe we can give this a go. Let's see how it goes, and let's see what happens.
Now, Michael, didn't you work with Dave in another musical project?
Yeah, many years ago in 1989, 1990-ish, yeah. A band called the Vapor Corporation, yeah.
And that was with Dave and Branca, right?
Yeah. Branca was the front lady, yeah.
Will we ever hear recordings from that period?
I've got them. I mean, it's not that it was bad, but yeah.
Branca's not keen.
She'd have a hit if I put any of them online.
Yeah.
So let's
Anyway, how were the first rehearsals? Did things fall in place pretty quickly?
Yeah, I'd say they did. Yeah, things came together really quickly. I mean, Michael came along and played drums, and it was just like straight away I thought, oh yeah, this guy can do it. And it was the same with Dan. When Dan came down to rehearse from the first time, he knew everything. It was just, I think it came together really easily, but that's my opinion. The other guys might think differently.
Michael, do you have an opinion on those first rehearsals?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it came together quite nice, but for me it was definitely felt like an audition big time. Yeah, so for me the first rehearsals was an audition, and then I had to further kind of audition when Ed came down to rehearsal. It felt like another audition to convince him as well. Yeah.
Did you go in and practice, listen to all the Vapors albums and think, oh, I got to get a really obscure one. Oh, hey, yeah, guys, let's do Daylight Titans.
Yeah, I must admit, I kind of made sure I knew all of them. So that no matter what they asked for, I could play it.
Now, the audience reaction to the return to the stage was pretty ecstatic. Did that success, or did the success of the live shows surprise you?
Yeah, big time. Really surprised. We did one song in a pub, and someone filmed it and put it on YouTube. And the next day, it was just like 12,000 views or something. And we were like, "Well, where did that come from?"
With Ed's busy directing schedule, it was obvious that you would have to bring in another guitarist. Was Dan's involvement always part of the plan?
Oh, you're asking me.
Well, the plan was always to use Ed, but then we have to change the plan because Ed became not available.
Busy, yeah.
I mean, when I listened to the album together, which we're going to talk about in just a moment here, when I listened to that album, I have to be honest, I don't have the physical copy yet. It should be arriving any day. But the chemistry is magical. Every piece fits together, and I don't know what songs Ed plays on. I don't know what songs Dan plays on. I'll be able to figure that out obviously when I read the credits. But Dan fits so well into the fabric of the Vapors that I think that he adds a whole new energy. And I'm not saying this in front of you, Dan. I'd be saying this even if you weren't sitting there. But the album is truly magical. There's just so much going on now. When you guys had started, doing the live shows, was the initial idea just to play the old stuff, or did you hope that it would be successful enough to add new material?
Well, the original plan was just to play the old stuff, yes.
Yeah, for 4 gigs. Yeah.
Where we left off.
How long was it before you decided, okay, we're going to start adding stuff?
We didn't do anything new in 2016, so it probably started in 2017.
We can all be brothers in Babylon, and we can all be sisters in Babylon, and we can all be lovers in Babylon, in Babylon, in Babylon. Yeah, we can all be brothers in Babylon, and we can all be sisters in Babylon, and we can all be lovers in Babylon, in Babylon.
Were any of the songs or ideas things that you've been working on over the decades, or were they all sort of inspired by this renewed creative energy brought on by the reunion?
They're all inspired by the band and the reunion. There was nothing old in there at all. Everything was written from 2016 onwards.
Wow. Before you started choosing the songs to record for the album, how many new songs did you actually end up with that you had to choose from?
About 20.
We demoed 20.
And then voted on them. We each gave each song 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it got the totals.
You guys took that poll to decide which songs are going to make the album. Was that kind of tough?
Yeah, extremely.
Yeah.
We wanted all 20 of them, honestly. Really, yeah.
People suggested a double album, but we couldn't have afforded that.
Now, Steve Levine is a great producer with an excellent track record. What made you decide to work with him?
I've known him for years, but it was his enthusiasm, I think, as much as anything. It was the first person we asked, and we asked a number of producers. It was the first one we asked. He came straight back and said, yes. When do you want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of enthusiasm.
I mean,
Was he-
definitely his enthusiasm for the project was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not just at the start, but all throughout the recording process. You know, with doing takes, but it's brilliant. Yeah, he'd be so enthusiastic about everything. Sort of, throwing his toys around the studio. Try this. Just really keen the whole time.
Well, he adds this layer of warmth to the band's sound. It's more intimate than we've ever heard the Vapors before. Did you intend to have the album sound this way, or is that just sort of how it evolved with Steve Levine?
I think there was sort of an element of that within the songs themselves. Naturally, it's quite a warm sort of album, really. So I think Steve Levine took that sort of idea and really drove it to sort of so that it sounds the way it feels, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, bands these days don't think in terms of albums anymore. It's always singles or EPs. They'll just release 2 or 3 songs at a time. But you come from the generation where the flow of an album is very important. Did you spend a lot of time figuring out the running order?
Always.
There's an email thread somewhere in all of our inbox histories, just countless different versions of the running order.
Yeah.
The really hard bit was leaving 2 the final album.
Yeah.
Choosing the 2 to leave off was the hardest decision.
Yeah, it's on the not enough space, basically, on the record. And the whole thing is under 45, just under 45 minutes, but there was no way of arranging them so that one side wasn't over the 22.5-minute limit for a side.
Right. And the LP actually has 2 less songs, right?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
So I don't remember in Babylon aren't on the LP.
And crazy don't seem crazy anymore. I don't know what you're waiting for. Won't you come inside and lock the door? I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't care what other people see. I'm in love with you. You're in love with me. And crazy don't seem crazy anymore. So what you waiting for?
You chose Crazy as the first single with 12 tracks on the CD to choose from. What inspired you to pick that one? Was it because it was the most classic sounding Vapors track on the album?
No, it's because it's the one the record company said we should do.
Basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
The album works inside and outside the classic Vapors formula. Great songs like In Babylon, Those Tears, the title track. Then there's the wondrous splendor of Sundown River. The guitar work is absolutely sublime. Did you feel comfortable taking musical chances on some of these tracks? That sort of went outside of what people might have expected from a Vapors album?
That is one of few tracks on the album that we actually played live quite a bit before we recorded it. So we knew it worked live. We knew the audience would.
All I really want is floating down the river. All I really want is a reason to forgive her. Can't believe that I'm not floating down the river with you. Down the river with you. Sundown River to the sundown sea. I love sundown. She loves me.
A lot of people have talked about the tracks that aren't on the album, and a lot of people were already familiar with a lot of these tracks because they saw them live. But a lot of us, in fact, I missed you guys were when you were on tour here in America during the 80s tour. But then I think you only focused on just the classic material. I mean, I think I saw probably 475 pictures, all of them with Michael beaming and Steve with a beer. And
Okay. That's true.
so social media brings that sort of a touch of intimacy and connection to these bands
Yes. Yeah.
that we never had before.
Yeah.
For 40 years, the Vapors to me were a mystery. I saw you guys 3 times, met you guys backstage, but it's still a mystery. But do you like the fact that you can now connect or see how the fans are reacting, pretty much in real time?
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant because getting an instant reaction is, and who wants to wait like a year to find out whether it's good or not? To get people's opinions really quick is I think is a very positive thing.
Yeah, and the other great thing about the whole social media stuff is that we can interact with what's essentially become a gigantic family.
Mm-hmm.
That's across the globe. It's fantastic. Just chatting about whatever with people who have become friends through the band, basically.
Well, there's so much depth to the album together. There's a lot more attention paid to layered harmonies. Was that a conscious effort? And who provides the higher harmonies? Because those add a whole new dimension to the band.
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah, the young voice.
Those voice haven't quite broken yet,
Yeah.
Harmonies were always present, always there on Vapors records, but here there's just so much attention. And I think that's what really, really works on top of just a great batch of songs already. Just the sound of the band and vocals just add, I keep using the word warmth and intimacy. And Dan, now I can thank you for adding those great harmonies, because I can't say enough great things about this album.
Girl from the factory's always gonna haunt me on and on and on. Girl from the factory's always gonna haunt me on and on and on.
She seemed alright.
Girl from the factory's always gonna haunt me on and on and on.
She seemed alright.
Girl from the factory's always gonna haunt me on and on and on.
Now I'm sick and tired of trying to think of details.
It seems like a lot of fans have really gravitated towards Girl from the Factory, which is really a powerful song. What inspired that?
Talking to somebody that had been through that experience, and I tried to put it into pictures. Just don't draw any conclusions. It doesn't say what caused it or anything. It just draws attention to the fact that someone didn't notice and should have.
I guess this is directed probably towards Michael and Steve and Dan. Did everyone have creative input on the arrangements, or did Dave has specific ideas on how he wanted them to sound?
Yeah, we definitely all had a good input. Yeah.
We all sort of played a part in that. Generally speaking, there would be an overarching sort of structure to the song, but if we had ideas, I thought, why not take it this way? Why not take it that way? And that's how it all sort of developed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone putting ideas.
Dave would come in and he'd say, okay, well, I've got a verse bit and I've got a chorus bit, and then we'd kind of try and put those together, and do we need a middle eight or a solo? And that was so we were all pitching in on all that sort of thing. And we always did, really.
See, I've said numerous times, I think in reviews and videos and stuff, Dave has this knack of creating these wonderful melodies, and it seems like he's got like 30 in front of him, 30 great melodies in front of him, and he piles them all into these songs. So, the verses are catchy, the bridges are catchy, the middle eights are catchy, the choruses are catchy, and there's never been a wasted moment on a Vapors record, and together is yet another example of that.
Sometimes we can't tell. Sometimes we can't tell which bit's the verse and which bit's the chorus. They're both great.
I think the only wasted bits on the new album is those 1 or 2 second spaces in between songs, because I do actually like the fact that some of these songs are basically the next one will start even before the previous one. That creates a feeling. This is an album that you feel the same time that you hear it. And I think that's an important thing. Sometimes you don't have to know what the song is about in order to understand what you guys, what Dave and all of you are trying to convey, because you can feel it. I was listening particularly on a lot of the songs to Michael's percussion. Michael obviously has verse, chorus, bridge, middle eight, things that he adds to every song. And I don't think that people really think of drummers like that. I think they just think of them as just, pounding, these round things, behind the important guys. But no, the drummers. And I think this record really, really shows that, because you can get a lot from just listening to what Michael's doing. You can get what the emotion, what the tension, and then when the song relaxes and breathes a little bit, and that really comes out, I think, on this record.
Actually, not just a drummer, he's an artist.
Yeah.
But if you wait till the war is all over, and then you wait till they all drop their guns, and then you wait till they pick up the pieces, no one won. No one won.
Dave, how does Letter to Hero connect to your debut album's Letter from Hero? Musically, it is different, but it is just as emotionally powerful.
Yeah, I just thought it left a gap from Hero. I think I thought tie it off a bit, and it's Hero wasn't the hero. They may have been an unknown soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hero is the English guy, if anything.
Overall, the reaction from fans and critics has been pretty amazing to this new record. While I'm sure that you were confident on the album, we now live in a world where negativity tends to be the trend. But for the first time in years, it seems that everybody is in agreement on this record, that Together, as I've said before, is one of the best, if not the best, albums of the year. Are you pretty relieved now that it's out there and it's actually offering listeners so much hope and happiness?
Definitely.
I mean, it's great that it's finally out there. I mean, we finished this about a year ago, and originally we were going to put it out ourselves, in which case it would have been out quicker, but probably wouldn't have been distributed so well. And then we got involved with the distribution thing, and it's kind of dragged on a bit for us, which I'm just relieved to get it out.
And just as it's all about to come out, this whole thing happens with the world. The world shut down.
Yeah.
Back in 1981, it was the BBC that shut down. Now it's the whole world.
But in essence, though, as I said before, the album, no matter how trying this time can be, this pandemic is worldwide. It's one of the few things that people are really positive about, that I'm seeing online. I mean, you guys know, everybody hates the politicians. There's so much arguing, yet you go to the Vapors fan group on Facebook and it's just everyone saying, my God, this is awesome. And people are, just about ready to wring the postman's neck because it hasn't arrived. I mean, I'm here in America. So obviously it's taking a little bit of time, but that we will all want the fourth album a little sooner than 2059.
We can.
Yeah. Is there any chance of that's going to happen? You do have 8 songs left over.
I've got about 30 for the next album, yeah.
Next one's going to be a triple.
You said that. It's going to go online now. You've made a promise to the world.
Yeah. Well, how can viewers and listeners keep updated on all things Vapors?
Vapors.co.uk website.
Yeah. Main website.
That's telling you which gigs are postponed and when they're postponed to.
There's a Vapors UK page on Facebook, which is what Sean runs, which is very on the ball as to what's going on in Vaporland.
The Vapors UK.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a Vapors US? I'm trying to figure out how come it's the Vapors UK on Facebook.
I have no idea. I think maybe it's something to do with vaping.
Some vaping company has probably taken that Twitter handle.
Oh.
Crazy don't seem crazy anymore. So what you waiting for? Come on, what you waiting for? Come on, what you waiting for? Come on, what you waiting for? What you waiting for?